Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Healthy Harrison podcast, a weekly program designed to help you change your state, to live better, to live healthier, to live happier. We're live from Harrison County. I'm Gary Bowden. Our co-host each week is Amy Haberbosch Wilson. Amy is the executive director of the Harrison County Economic Development Corporation, and she's also the vice president of Healthy Harrison. Amy, for all of those that have transitioned to working out outdoors, we've had to get our cold weather gear back out. I don't know about you, but I have.
We sure did. Yep, and it's up and down for a while. So
And it looks like it looks like we'll have the cold weather gear back out for another week or so. Either that or we transition back indoors when we're working out. So
it's May in West Virginia.
That surely is. We're streaming our program live on the Healthy Harrison Facebook page, as well as the statewide distribution network of wvnews.com, our media partner. Every week at this time, we chat with individuals who are focused on the mission, our mission of Healthy Harrison, fostering measurable improvement to the health and well-being of the citizens of North Central West Virginia, and in particular, Harrison County, of course. Our guest today is Dr. Kelly Nelson. He's a family practice physician in Bridgeport, West Virginia. He is the founder and president of Medbrook Children's Charity. He's also a Healthy Harrison board member and chair of the Workplace Wellness Program. He's an Alabama native. He did his undergraduate studies at Auburn, gaining a BS in biology, and studied and got his doctor medical school training at the University of Alabama. And a lot of folks around Harrison County certainly know Dr. Kelly Nelson. Kelly, thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
And I skipped a lot of the intro, particularly after John Paul told me that we needed to limit the length of our show today. With all the background information he gave on you, Kelly, that would have taken up the 30 minutes that we've got. So
sometimes you have to fill air, you know.
I know you're very active in the community. Let's jump right in. I mentioned you are and have been for some time a family practice physician. You see the health problems in our community, young, old, in between, up close and personal. Does the health of our community trouble you?
It does, in fact, and there's a pretty almost one-to-one correlation between economic status and health status, and unfortunately, West Virginia lags in both of those. I certainly moved from a state that was poor, that was underserved, and I moved to another state that was very poor and underserved and unhealthy. And it's a crying shame. It really is.
Do you, in addition to your clinical work with which you do day to day, are you able to mix that in some fashion by also attempting to be a health coach?
Oh, I try to be my own personal health coach, and we all have our own personal struggles. I spend a good bit of my free time mentoring younger residents coming up, and I also, we've made a generational transition to charity. I've also got a lot of younger board members, and we spend a good bit of time with them, mentoring them. Not so much those folks in health, but in life and how to give back and how to do the right thing by the community.
Yeah, I know in dealing with patients, though, it's a tough sell trying to, if it's obvious that they need help, guidance, is it still a tough sell?
Oh, yeah, it's a tough sell because it's not immediate results. Americans like immediate results, and longitudinal health and chronic health problems don't lend themselves to immediate results. If you have hypertension, it's difficult to have an immediate impact. Most people have no symptoms of their hypertension. If you're obese, it's difficult to see immediate weight loss. If you're diabetic, it takes time to move that needle with your sugar and your hemoglobin A1C. So as Americans, we're sort of tuned into these instantaneous, instant gratification. Right. So those longitudinal, long-term goals, they're tough, and it takes a lot of hand holding, It takes a lot of ass kicking sometimes in the combination of to get people to do what's the right thing long term.
Right.
Healthy Harrison's had our laser pointed and our focus on obesity epidemic in West Virginia. What are some of the first steps that you'd encourage someone to take who's significantly overweight?
First, part of the cure is to be cured. You got to understand that obesity is going to affect you in ways you can't even imagine, psychologically, physically, economically, all sorts of ways. So I think the pitch has got to be, you got to get the person involved. You got to get them to understand how serious that situation is, how many aspects of their life it touches, and it touches in a negative way. And that it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Again, that longitudinal long-term cell, and it's hard. Uh, it's easy to go for high caloric, easy to grab food. It's difficult to choose healthy food. It takes time to cook it. It takes time to prepare it. It can be expensive. It's a tough sell.
Yeah, totally agree. I know that you're aware that Healthy Harrison does the baby steps. We really advocate establishing bite-sized goals. Do you agree that that's the best? I know you said it's a marathon, so it kind of goes along. Sustain a commitment to make this change by doing that?
100%. You're gonna turn a ship bit by bit. This isn't a rowboat. You're looking to turn a life around. It's gonna take a long time to stay in the course. And the way to get people to succeed is small goals. And as we obtain small goals and obtain and take on those small challenges, those can stack on each other and make for long-term big time changes. So yeah, I think small steps and small changes in habits, parking further away from the building, walking up 2 flights of stairs instead of taking the elevator. Those sort of small steps can make big impacts long term.
I love the idea of encouraging people to park a little further from the building or the mall or
Absolutely.
whatever it is, because it does promote a small baby step toward a healthier lifestyle. The other reason I like to do it is it spares all those dents you get in your car when you try to pack in to the door closest to the front of
Yeah,
the building. So there's an ulterior motive.
yeah.
Let me throw in a commercial real quick because we have some great sponsors for this podcast, and we want people to know that the program is brought to you by WVU Medicine United Hospital Center, West Virginia University, the State Journal, WVNews.com, and Interaction Media. They are all partners of what we do, not just this podcast. They're partners in all that we do here in Harrison County as a Healthy Harrison organization. Kelly, so many people they'll commit to let's call it a personal health revolution, but trying to do it on their own, they fail. A lot of them fail in short order. It might only take, a couple of
Yeah,
weeks or
yeah.
a month. Are the odds of succeeding better with a mentor, a coach, a
100%.
workout diet
Yeah.
partner?
100%. And we've seen that acutely during the COVID pandemic with people locked down. People need people. People need social interactions. People need coaches. People need someone to lean on, a hand to hold, a hug. Doing things one on one is very difficult, and it's a recipe to fail. The other mistake you see a lot with people is January 1st, I'm going to lose 20 pounds. I'm
Right.
going to quit smoking. I'm going to start exercising. A million times I've had to give the lecture to people. You can only fight so many fights on so many fronts at once. When you go to war, you don't take on 6 different countries at once. You laser focus on an issue, you take on that issue, attack that issue, and as you take that issue on, then layer on some other issues. You can't tear Rome down and rebuild Rome in a day. It takes time.
Healthy Harrison has generated some significant positive results in earlier workplace wellness programs, something that's near and dear to you because you've
Yeah.
been very active in that role. Uh, Do you think that the neighborhood campaigns that we have underway now in Nutter Fort, in Bridgeport, in Shinston, in downtown Clarksburg, can they achieve similar results, or is it a tougher environment to work that way?
I think they can very much achieve similar and probably even greater results because I've seen the enthusiasm, I've seen the leadership in those programs, and I've seen the buy-in that those people have and the infectious spirit and nature they have. I expect all those programs have a great chance for success. And they're all based on small steps, small changes, stacking those on top of each other, looking for that long-term goal. So I feel really good about the odds of them working.
Kelly, whether it's the workplace wellness or done through neighbors at the street level, as I've described it before, explain some of the specifics that we measure, that we look for to show that people are making progress.
Yeah. So particularly in the workplace, we did some biometric screening. We started out with some blood work before they started the program to find out where their sugar was, find out where their cholesterol was, find out where their blood pressure was, find out where their weight was. We then instituted the program of a number of small steps. And we not only did physical, we also did spiritual. And I think that was a big part of the program, that we were taking on the entire and working with the entire psyche of the person, body, mind, spirit, all, and stirring in community. Because as we all know, we have our work family, we have our work community. So everybody being involved in that was a key. They were all keys to the success of that program.
Kelly, the opioid crisis has really had the fingers pointed in part to the medical community and pharmaceutical companies. Do you see that there's any parallel in the obesity crisis?
I think a lot of that all revolves around a lack of education and poor socioeconomic. So I think at some point those all tie in. The opioid crisis in Appalachia is terrible, and that's being fought in the federal courtroom in Charleston today as to whose fault it was. And however we got there and whatever happened was in the past. What we need to do is focus on doing better in the future. And I think we've taken some big steps in the medical community, and I think in the community in general, to round that corner and take that beast on.
Totally agree. The food manufacturers, you talked about the healthy choices, limited choices we have. Do you feel that the food manufacturers and the retail food companies should be doing more to help? I think that they should. It's just as far as choices that people have, and even the price of some things.
Yeah, I don't want to drift too far into politics, but yeah, I agree.
It gets a little delicate.
It is.
But really, I mean, it's not the first time this has been addressed. I've heard it on national news before that these folks could find ways to help. The communities can find ways to try to build or bring in stores that into areas that are described as food deserts, and in places where there's not a lot of food opportunity, perhaps a retailer could be doing more to try to bring in fresh fruit. So again, like we pick at the pharmaceutical companies, are the manufacturers and the retailers, could they help more?
Yeah, clearly I think they have a dog in that fight. The method I favor is the community taking care of the community. And I think the community gardens that you've seen pop up even locally, I think those are great steps. That gets the community involved in not only improving itself, neighbors getting to know neighbors, that social aspect again, but also with healthier food choices. So I'm a huge advocate of the community taking care of the community. I don't want big government running my life. I want me and my community taking care of ourselves.
Let's talk about the nutrition habits at a younger age, as far as getting into the schools, how important it is for the the medical facilities to work with the schools, the education, the food choices that they have, the choices that they're making when they're not at school.
It's absolutely huge. And I think cafeteria food from the time I was in grade school and grammar school till now is daylight and dark different in terms of healthier. Uh, Ours was a lot of fatty food, delicious food, but not very healthy food. I think another very key aspect, particularly with this generation coming up, that it's all about screen time and all about video games, is getting outside, getting active, limiting that screen time and getting people outdoors in the fresh air. Kids need to take sticks and go out and play in the dirt. Not everything has to be an organized activity, and certainly everything doesn't have to be screen time or internet based.
You're a part of Healthy Harrison. We mentioned that, Kelly. Have programs that we've run, have some of the things we've done over the last few years that we've been in existence, have they done enough to sell the distinct benefits that can result from better exercise and better eating habits?
Have we done enough? The easy answer to that is no. We've never done enough because there's still a problem out there. So until the problems abated, the obvious answer is we've not done enough. Have we done some programs that have been impactful? Absolutely. The one I'm most intimately involved with and aware of is the workplace healthy or workplace wellness program. We made significant long-term impact on people. And I still bump into some of those people in the community that are maintaining their weight loss, that are maintaining a healthier lifestyle, that have much better cholesterol levels, that have much better sugar levels. When we first put the program together, I was very skeptical.
Yeah.
I spent 30 years in medical career, and I've spent 20 of those years trying to put together workplace wellness programs, and they're difficult. And generally, you throw some money at it for a while, it's a failure, and you walk away from it. This was the first program I've ever seen that longitudinally was showing that it could make progress. Unfortunately, COVID came along and sort of derailed a lot of what we're doing. But I think Healthy Harrison clearly has a mission, clearly has a purpose, and can make long-term impactful changes.
I know we agree. We feel the same.
Go ahead.
No, I wanted to hear more about the your foundation, the children's charity.
Yeah. This is our 21st year of existence, and in those 21 years, this little mom and pop community organization has raised $2 million that stay within Harrison County. And it is absolutely a testament to Harrison County. It is Harrison County taking care of Harrison County. It's local people paying forward, taking care of those local kids in needs.
Kelly, what do you think about selling the monetary benefits of living a healthier lifestyle? I mean, you pay less for doctor bills, you pay less for insurance. Is anybody buying that story?
It's coming. Listen, Blue Cross Blue Shield now has enough information about you and your biometrics, your waist size, your BMI, your cholesterol, your sugar. Just like people who have more car wrecks and have more speeding tickets pay more for auto insurance, we are morphing toward and changing toward you're going to pay more for health insurance if you have an unhealthy lifestyle. Now, unfortunately, part of that is genetics. You can't pick your mom and dad. And if you inherit bad genes, that you're more likely to have a heart attack, you're more likely to have a stroke, you're more likely to have diabetes, you're going to pay an economic price for that.
Kelly, it costs some amount of money to bring about effective change, and Healthy Harrison has had great sponsors. I mentioned those a moment ago. Are there others in the community that could be ponying up, maybe not even with money, maybe with resources? Or are there other folks out there that could be helping you? You said it's all about the community and people helping people.
I think Healthy Harrison has a nice base and a nice start. And I think as we prove the product and prove that we can make impactful, measurable, long-term changes, I think it will come. I think we now have a start. We have a footing. We need to prove that what we're doing is sustainable, is impactful, is measurable. And I think the community will jump on board.
Kelly, could this even be extended to uh, the faith community, the churches
Oh,
in our
listen,
community? You mentioned the spiritual component of what we
absolutely.
did in workplace wellness.
A big part of the success of the healthy workplace was the spiritual piece, the coaching piece, the mentoring piece. I think that is huge and missed by many wellness programs. I think that was a huge part of our success. And clearly, we could take that workplace wellness program into a church community, into a neighborhood, into a school, into whatever.
Mhm.
Absolutely. People are people, communities are communities. And they're Venn diagrams, they all overlap and interlap.
Go ahead, Amy. I think I jumped in on you there.
No, no, that's all right. I'm just going to ask the standard question that we've asked each week now on the
Right.
podcast about the pandemic, whether you feel that it's had a positive or negative effect on personal health. We get different answers, pros, cons, but what's your take?
It's had an overall horrible effect on people.
Mm.
Physically, it's affected people. I've seen more bad cholesterol, more bad sugars in the last year and a half than I have in my entire career. And more importantly, I think is going to pan out long term is the psychological and social impact that isolation has had on people. Anxiety is through the roof, depression is through the roof. You saw that drug overdoses were up again, suicide is up. It's been people are social animals. People need people. People need to be around people, and this has been very harmful. I, I also fear what the long term downstream effects are going to be for school age children who have now missed a year, year and a half of school. And at least half of what you get out of the year is socialization. Learning the multiplication tables is huge. Learning how to communicate and write is huge, but it's also learning how to get along in the world, how to socialize and interact with people is huge. And these kids have lost educationally, psychologically, socially, every which way. I think the long term effects from that are frightening.
It is. It's really scary. So I want to make a change. I'm 10. I'm 16. I'm 66. What are the next steps? Different for each, I'm sure, category, but
Yeah, different for obviously what you're trying to accomplish, but part of the cure is wanting to be cured and realizing there's an issue you want to take on, combating that issue, finding the resources or the mentor to take that issue on, and committing long term. And again, Americans like instant success and don't typically buy into long term. A little bit of pain here for long term gain. It's a tough sell.
Has the anti-vaccination issue crossed over into just about everything we tackle these days? In other words, are people going to resent being told that, boy, you need to make a change because you're going to face some long-term health issues?
Yeah, I think it's a very divisive world right now. I think
Yeah,
social media has been awful for the world. It's so easy to namelessly and facelessly and cowardly bash away,
yeah.
hit and stick. You don't sign the paper. Your picture's not there. You're under some meme, and you can just be horrible, inhumane to people. Uh, yeah, it's made it a very divisive world. People are confused. I understand that COVID's a very fluid situation. I understand that medical recommendations change, if not daily, hourly sometimes. People don't know where to go for information right now. People are confused. People are scared. People are isolated, and people now are fatigued with it. We saw a great rush to vaccines in West Virginia. We led the nation for a long, long time. Now all of a sudden we have more vaccines. We have people willing to take vaccines.
Right.
It's going to be
You,
a tough situation.
yeah, you mentioned the tools that are available out there, or people are searching for tools, and you also held up your electronic device. a little earlier. Those rarely leave our person. So could that be a good tool? Can the smartphones
You know what?
be our coach? Can they inspire us? Have you found things online that work?
It's like any other tool. It's a two-edged sword. Used correctly, it's a great tool. Used incorrectly, it can be very dangerous.
Give me an example of incorrectly.
Professional time answering questions. People have been the worst thing you can hear walking into exam room wearing your stethoscope is, "Hey doc, I Googled X and I have some questions."
Not what you want to hear.
Answering questions, and it's a two-way street.
Yeah.
I want patients informed. I want patients to challenge and ask questions, but you got to pour it through a filter. You got to pour it through a filter of education and experience. Everything on the internet ain't true. There's a lot of bad information on the internet. There's a lot of good information on the internet, but you have to be able to filter it out and find what are the best resources. Can apps on smartphones be useful? Good God, yes. As little as wearing a watch or a Fitbit and tracking your steps.
There you go.
That encourages a lot of people to park further at the mall so I can get in another couple hundred steps here, because by God, I'm going to get in my 10,000 steps today. Now, are there some bad apps out there? Yeah. So you got to pour it through a filter.
You're a Bridgeport resident, at least I believe you are, aren't you? I know your practice has been in Bridgeport. What about the new indoor athletic facility? Is that got great potential?
I just think it's a phenomenal thing for all of Harrison County that we're going to have that sort of facility in our backyard. I think it not only is going to be potential big driver for health, I think that has a potential to be an economic driver for people coming to our community, staying in hotels, buying gasoline, buying food. I think it's a visionary, great move by the city of Bridgeport.
Let me throw one more at you here, because we're just about out of time, and it's a little bit off the track, but it came to me last night, and I thought I'm going to ask Kelly if he's ever heard of this. Have you ever heard of someone or a group conducting a health intervention? Do you think something like that could work?
So interventions are tough things. Generally, think of an intervention, you think of a drug addict.
Yeah, that's what you think most of, right?
Those are tough things, and you have to not only have the intervention, you got to have the treatment plan that you got confidence in and that you know that works, and there's resources. So yeah, interventions used correctly and with the backup help can be great things.
Dr. Kelly Nelson, boy, we thank you sharing time with us. And of course, thank you for what you've been doing to help Healthy Harrison as a part of our organization.
You know what? I'm blessed to be in a position to do it. And 30 something years ago, I got 2 life sentences. And one day I got married and became a West Virginian. And I'm happy about both.
Good deal. Well, we hope
very much appreciate your time. Thank you.
You have a great one.
We hope that jointly we can keep making a difference here. We want to thank everybody for joining us today for our Healthy Harrison podcast. It's our goal to change your state of mind and ultimately change the state of health here in Harrison County and throughout all of West Virginia. If you want more help right now, visit healthyharrison.org, or you can visit Healthy Harrison on Facebook. You'll find lots of support there. Again, we'd like to thank our sponsors, WVU Medicine United Hospital Center, West Virginia University, the State Journal, wvnews.com, and Interaction Media. Again, you can learn more on the Healthy Harrison Facebook page or go to healthyharrison.org. On behalf of our friends, our board members with Healthy Harrison, Amy and I would like to again thank Dr. Kelly Nelson for joining us. We also want to thank the Interaction Media crew. They're our producers each and every week, and they helped us again today. So Kelly Nelson, thanks again. Take care.
Thanks much.
Keep up the effort, and we'll see everyone next week with another great guest. And we hope they'll help inspire you to live life better by living life healthy. Thanks for